My dear brothers and sisters in Christ Jesus, today we will hear about the purposeful living. What is the purpose of one's living? St. Paul declares the aimless living will lead us exactly nowhere. Therefore, I urge you in the name of the Lord, he says, not to go on living the aimless kind of life that pagans live. In paganism, according to Paul, lack of direction led to deep moral lapses and indecency of every kind, or spiritual collapse. But he says, if we live by the truth and in love, we shall grow in all ways into Christ, who is the head, by whom the whole church body is fitted and joined together until it has built itself up in love. As long as we are in this world, one who took a birth in this land, he should have an aim to live his life. If there is no aim, the person is equal to dead body or deadly person. We see so many people around us who are around the road who are doing nothing, yet they live, and we know what respect they get in the society. Therefore, we need to look into ourselves and see what is my purpose of living, where I want to go, what is the aim I want to achieve. If you see the small children in the schools, their teachers will teach and ask their aim of becoming something. And we know so many will tell so many things, but the time comes, totally it is opposite of what they told, and they become something else. There are children, they become what they want and they achieve for that. It is not only saying I will become like that, but I have to work for. As the days pass, the person has to work hard to achieve the goal. If the goal is big, then the aim has to be big. The struggle has to be big. He can't just sleep, eat, and become a great person. If it may be. The same way St. Paul is telling. If anybody wants to reach in the kingdom of Jesus, we need to become a great person or active. We need to work for that. We need to strive to become somebody who is different than the therefore Christ must be felt as a living influence in the lives of all his true followers. Christ has to influence. If we see in our common life, we look at some persons who are great in the society, we admire at them, their way of life, their way of living, and the same way we like to become like them. This is a natural inclination. And those who want to follow Christ, they have to get some admiration, inspiration from Jesus. And every day we are here to know about Christ. And we also we celebrate the birthday of Mother Teresa as she showed the way to Jesus. And the qualities of Jesus she possessed. And she is a person who totally lived a life which Jesus wants. And we know very well in our own lives time we might have seen, at least we might be hearing whatever things she did. And the proof is in front of us, the charity home. All over the world they established, and she is the head of that particular institution. And plenty of works they are doing all around the world, especially the people, those who are thrown from their own houses, and small children, especially, even thrown by their own parents. But she gave protection to those unwanted people whom they thought, and she gave a new life which is with the moral lives of Christ. And morality is built first and foremost in her, and she felt to form these little ones, the elderly one, and give the values of Christ. And she did it so wonderfully. Therefore, we call today Saint Mother Teresa. And she is elevated that level because of her activities in her lifetime. So we are also called to live the same lifestyle in this world. Therefore, Paul is telling we need to have some aim in our life. She had an aim to become different than the other persons. Not only she dreamed, but she also put into practice those thoughts which she had in his mind. And today, the same Lord is inviting. Look at the person and learn from her something great thing, something mighty thing. And we also need to become like her in our way of dealing, in a way of living. Simple living, but a great value. Value consists of goodness. The same thing we also call the take. And we need the help of divine grace. It is always necessary for a human person to go again with the Lord. And each one needed to work for our own salvation in fear and in trembling. The New Testament urges us and then goes on, it is God who gives you both the will and the ability to act and so achieve his own purpose. This we can see in Philippians chapter 2, verse 12. And he is very much convinced of the work of Christ. And we could not even begin to seek God if we had not already found it. He called us, He gave life, He gave so many things, and more than that, He gave a great place to live in. And every day we are called to reflect on this particular reality. And the other hand, if you see, people are wrapped up only with tribal things and selfish pleasure seeking. The understanding will be darkened. Also, still, their hearts become insensitive to real values. And the real values will be hidden by the false values. And this lapsing from ideals will be gradual and barely noticeable, and nobody becomes decadent all at once. When people first become aware in their consent, they are falling into bad habits. They may regard it with some regret, but they found pleasure in that and they go for it. Maybe some kind of a satisfaction, some kind of a peaceful mind and heart, and they go for it. And they find that is a soul thing which will keep them always happy. But it is not so. The very will vanish once the things will go off. The pleasure of the time will go off. But as long as we are with the Lord, we are happy. We have peaceful mind. We have peace of atmosphere. And God will give us the way, give us the solution, and lead us the right path where we are supposed to walk. Let us pause for a while and look at the person and look at the person who face who really shows being a human person how we have to live our life. And Jesus is looking at us and ready to help us.